trying to find my way around the Gita. I found this book, the Bhagavad Gita by S. Ramakrishna. That's the commentary. Maybe he even translated it. But this book I got as is for $1 because the first 16 pages and more are gone. So I don't know how this book starts, but it's still got a long introduction. Effect. Only the wisdom that the universal reality and the individual self are identical can bring us redemption. When this wisdom arises, the ego is dissolved, the wandering ceases, and we have perfect joy and blessedness. Brahman is definable only in terms of being, as it is above all predicates, especially all distinction of subject, object, and the act of cognition. It cannot be regarded as personal, and there can be no love or reverence for it. So it's suggesting that Brahman is not a person, doesn't have personhood. Shankara holds that while action is essential as a means for the purification of the mind, when wisdom is attained, action falls away. Wisdom and action are mutually opposed as light and darkness. Interesting. He rejects the view of Jnana Karma Samuchaya. He believes that Vedic rites are meant for those who are lost in ignorance and desire. The aspirants for salvation should renounce the performance of ritual works. The aim of the Gita, according to... Did I lose it? No. There you go. Sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. That was... So what's it say? The aim of the Gita, according to Shankara, is the complete suppression of the world of becoming, in which all action occurs, though his own life is an illustration of activity carried on after the attainment of wisdom. Shankara's views are developed by Anandagiri, who is probably as late as the 13th century Sridhara, the 15th century. and Madhusudana, 16th century, among others. The Maratha saints Tukaram and Jnaneshwar, great devotees, though they accept the position of Shankara in metaphysics. Ramanuja, 11th century, in his commentary, refutes the doctrine of the unreality of the world in the path of renunciation of action. He follows the interpretation given by Yamunacharya in his Gita Samgraha. Brahman, the highest reality, is spirit, but not without attributes. He has self-consciousness with knowledge of himself in a conscious will to create the world and bestow salvation on. Lots of footnotes here. Are these footnotes all for just this one page? Even, let's look at even if karma may not be the immediate cause of liberation, still it is a necessary means for acquiring saving wisdom. That's footnote 2, which goes with here. That's referring to Shankara's view that while action, that is karma, is essential as a means for the purification of the mind, when wisdom is attained, action falls away. Wisdom and action are mutually opposed, as lightness and dark. He rejects the view of Jnana Karma Samuchaya. I'm not sure what that means. I know that Jnana is wisdom and karma is action. In Samuchaya, I'm not sure what that means. Samuchaya. I've seen it before in Pratitya Samuchaya, dependent origination. Maybe that refers to dependency. Wisdom and action dependency. He believes that Vedic rites are meant for those who are lost in ignorance and desire. Where's number 2? Oh, there, it's at the end of Samuchaya 2. So that refers to even if karma may not be the immediate cause of liberation, still it is necessary means for acquiring saving wisdom. Let's skim through some of this. It's a long introductory essay on the Bhagavad Gita. Let's see. Ultimate reality. So the Gita does not give any arguments in support of its metaphysical position The reality of the Supreme is not a question to be solved by a dialectic which the vast majority of the human race will be unable to understand. Dialectic in itself and without reference to personal experience cannot give us conviction. Only spiritual experience can provide us with proofs of the existence of spirit with capital S. Oh. Lao Tse, the Tao which can be named is not the true Tao. The reality of the formless, the unreality of that which has form, is known to all. Those who are on the road to attainment care not for these things, but the people at large discuss them. Attainment implies non-discussion. Discussion implies non-attainment. Manifested Tao has no objective value, hence silence is better than argument. Cannot be translated into speech. Better than say nothing at all. This is called the great attainment. And then Plotinus said, if anyone were to demand of nature why it produces, it would answer, if it were willing to listen and speak. You should not ask questions, but understand, keeping silence as I keep silence, for I am not in the habit of speaking. Ishvara is not responsible for evil except in an indirect way. If the universe consists of active choosing individuals who can be influenced but not controlled, for God is not a dictator, conflict is inevitable. To hold that the world consists of free spirits means that evil is possible and probable. The alternative to a mechanical world is a world of risk and adventure. If all tendencies to error, ugliness, and evil are to be excluded, there can be no seeking of the true, the beautiful, and the good. There is to be an active willing of these ideals of truth, beauty, and goodness. Then their opposites of error, ugliness, and evil are not merely abstract possibilities, but positive tendencies which we have to resist. For the Gita, the world is the scene of an active struggle between good and evil in which God is deeply interested. He pours out his wealth of love in helping man to resist all that makes for error, ugliness, and evil. As God is completely good and his love is boundless, he is concerned about the suffering of the world. God is omnipotent because there are no external limits to his power. The social nature of the world is not imposed on God, but is willed by him. To the question whether God's omniscience includes a foreknowledge, the way in which men will behave and use or abuse their freedom of choice, we can only say that what God does not know is not a fact. He knows that the tendencies are indeterminate, and when they become actualized, he is aware of them. The law of karma does not limit God's omnipotence. The Hindu thinkers, even during the period of composition of the Rig Veda, knew about the reasonableness and law-abidingness of nature. Artha, or order, embraces all things. The reign of law is the mind and will of God and cannot therefore be regarded as limitations of his power. The personal Lord of the universe has a side in time which is subject to change. The emphasis of the Gita is on the Supreme as the personal God who creates the perceptible world by his nature, Prakriti. He resides in the heart of every being. He is the enjoyer and Lord of all sacrifices. He stirs our hearts to devotion and grants our prayers. He is the source and sustainer of values. He enters into personal relations with us in worship and prayer. So the personal Ishvara is responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. The Supreme has two natures, the higher, Para, and the lower, Apara. The living souls represent the higher, and the material medium, the lower. God is responsible for both the ideal plan and the concrete medium through which the ideal becomes actual. The conceptual becomes the cosmic. The concretization of the conceptual plan requires a fullness of existence and objectification in the medium of potential matter. While God's ideas are seeking for existence, the world of existence is striving for perfection. The divine pattern and the potential matter, both these are derived from God, who is the beginning, middle, and the end. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. God with his creative ideas is Brahma. God who pours out his love and works with a patience which is matched only by his love is Vishnu. Vishnu, who is perpetually at work saving the world. When the conceptual becomes the cosmic, when heaven is established on earth, we have the fulfillment represented by Shiva. God is at the same time wisdom, love, and perfection. The three functions cannot be torn apart. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are fundamentally one, though conceived in a threefold manner. The Gita is interested in the process of redeeming the world, so the aspect of Vishnu is emphasized. Krishna represents the Vishnu aspect of the Supreme. Vishnu is a familiar deity in the Rig Veda. He is the great pervader, from vis, to pervade. He is the internal controller who pervades the whole universe. He gathers to himself in an ever-increasing measure the position and dignity of the eternal Supreme. To Narayana we bring worship. To Vasudeva our meditations. And in this may Vishnu assist us. Krishna, the teacher of the Gita, becomes identified with Vishnu, the ancient Lord of the Sun, and Narayana, an ancient god of cosmic character, and the goal or resting place of gods and men. The real is the supracosmic, eternal, spaceless, timeless Brahman who supports this cosmic manifestation in space and time. He is the universal spirit, Paramatman, who ensouls the cosmic form of movements. He is the Paramesvara, who presides over the individual souls and movements of nature and controls the cosmic becoming. He is also Purusottama, the Supreme Person, whose dual nature is manifested in the evolution of the cosmos. He fills our being, illumines our understanding, and sets in motion its hidden springs. All things partake of the duality of being and non-being. From Purusottama downwards, even God has the element of negativity or maya, though he controls it. He puts forth his active nature, Swam Prakritam, controls the souls who work out their destinies along lines determined by their own natures. While all this is done by the Supreme through his native power exercised in this changing world, he has another aspect untouched by it all. He is the impersonal absolute as well as the immanent will. He is the uncaused cause, the unmoved mover. While dwelling in man, and nature, the Supreme is greater than both. the boundless universe is an endless space and time. The boundless universe in an endless space and time rests in him and not he in it. The God of the Gita cannot be identified with the cosmic process, for he extends beyond it. Even in it, he is manifest more in some aspects than others. Even in it, he is manifest more in some aspects than in others. The charge of pantheism in the lower sense of the term cannot be urged against the Gita view. There is one reality that is ultimately perfect. Everything that is concrete and actual is not equally perfect. Interesting. The status of the world in the concept of Maya. This is a book. The Bhagavad Gita by S. Radhakrishnan. I want to go to, let's see, is there a, yeah, this is all the introductory essay. So it's 78 pages of introduction. And it ends with, the Gita represents Brahmaloka, or the world of God, not as itself the eternal, but as the farthest limits of manifestation. Ananda is the limit of our development, and we grow into it from the level of Vijnana. It belongs to the cosmic manifestation. The Absolute is not the Anandamaya Atma. The Absolute is not the Anandamaya Atma, not the divinized self. The pure self with a capital S is different from the five sheaths. When the purpose of the cosmos is reached, when the kingdom of God is established, when it is on earth as it is in heaven, when all individuals acquire the wisdom of spirit and are superior to the levels of being in which birth and death take place, then this cosmic process is taken over, into which is beyond all manifestations. Wow. So, Chapter 1, the hesitation and despondency of Arjuna. The question. The world is Dharma Kshetra, the battleground for a moral struggle. Decisive issues lies in the hearts of men, where the battles are fought daily and hourly. The ascent from earth to heaven, from suffering to spirit, is through the path of Dharma. Even in our corporeal existence, through the practice of Dharma, we can reach up to safety where every difficulty culminates in joy. The world is Dharma Kshetra, the nursery of saints, where the sacred flame of spirit is never permitted to go out. It is said to be Karma Bhumi, where we work out our karma and fulfill the purpose of soul making. So the aim of the Gita is not so much to teach a theory as to enforce, practice Dharma. We cannot separate in theory what is not separable in life. The duty of civic and social life provide religion with its tasks and opportunities. Dharma is what promotes worldly prosperity and spiritual freedom. The Gita does not teach a mysticism that concerns itself with man's inner being alone. Instead of rejecting the duties and relationships of life as an illusion, it accepts them as opportunities for the realization of spiritual freedom. Life is offered to us that we may transfigure it completely. The battlefield is called Dharma Kshetra, or the field of righteousness. For the Lord, who is the protector of Dharma, is actively present in it. Kurukshetra, in the field of the Kurus. Kurukshetra, in the field of the Kurus. Oh. So there's Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the field of the Kurus is in the field of the Kurus. Kurukshetra is the land of the Kurus, and the Kurus is a leading clan of the period. Clan. What is a clan? Interesting. Choice of words. Or could it be? So a clan could be a family, and could it have molded into a caste? The Kuru caste. Anyway, the Kurukshetra is a vast field near Hastinapura, in the neighborhood of modern Delhi. When the Dhritarashtra, the blind king of the Kurus, decided to give his throne to Yudhishthira, who is also known as Dharmaraja, the embodiment of virtue. So Yudhishthira, his nickname is Dharmaraja, because he was an embodiment of virtue. Raja is like king or royal, in preference to his own eldest son, Duryodhana, the latter. So Duryodhana didn't get the throne. Instead, Dharmaraja did, because he was an embodiment of virtue and Duryodhana was not. And because he was not, he used tricks and treachery to secure the throne for himself and attempted to destroy Yudhishthira and his 4 brothers. Krishna, the head of the Yadava clan, sought to bring about a reconciliation between the cousins. When all attempts failed, a fratricidal war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas became inevitable. Krishna proposed that he and his vassals would join the 2 sides and left the choice to the parties. The vassals were selected by Duryodhana, and Krishna himself joined the Pandavas as a charioteer of Arjuna. Vassals. I guess vassals means army. So Krishna gave choice. Gave choice first to the bad guys. Duryodhana. You get to choose first, Duryodhana. Do you want my vassals, or in other words, my army, or do you want me? So Duryodhana chose the army in hopes that he would have the advantage to win the war. And Arjuna fortunately got Krishna by default. And it was probably what he wanted. So Krishna became the intelligence, being that Krishna is God in disguise. He would have omnipotence. Omniscience. No, I don't know if with omniscience you can know the future. Maybe you can triangulate the future. So Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna. Some put their in the Udyoga Parva, whatever that is. Book 6, verse 147. Some put their trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will trust in the Lord our God. Oh, maybe this Udyoga Parva is referring to this summary. So, okay. So in the Old Testament, it says, some put their trusts in chariots and some in horses, but we will trust in the Lord our God. As the Old Testament says, the Pandavas and the Kauravas represent the conflict between the 2 great movements, the upward and the downward, the divine and the demoniac, the Dharma which helps us to grow in our spiritual stature, and the Adharma which drags us down deeper into entanglement with matter. The 2 are not irreconcilable as they spring from the same source. The Pandavas and the Kauravas are cousins and have a common ancestry. War is a retributory judgment as well as an act of discipline. Kurukshetra is also called Tapakshetra, the field of penance, of discipline. War is at once punishment and cleansing for mankind. God is judge as well as redeemer. He destroys and creates. He is Shiva and Vishnu. Samjaya is the charioteer of the blind king Dhritarashtra, who reports to him the events of the war. But it also seems to be he seems to have clairvoyance, clarividence, clairaudience. He is reporting, and he's got his eyes and ears all over the battlefield and can read the minds of whoever he wants to listen to. Seems like he's got cities. Got two armies. Well, I'll stop here. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, it's 6:43. Yes, I better stop here. So, I'm also reading from this book. And I'll continue whenever I can. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to upload this. I wanted to read this one also, but I didn't get around to it. I wanted to go through this one, and it's got a lot of good stuff, even though I'm missing some 15 pages, 16 or more pages. I may have to look this one up on Kindle or on Amazon. Yeah, on Amazon. Let's see if I can find. Well, I can't find it there. I don't think. Do I have my Amazon? Yeah, here. I could go Bhagavad Gita. Radhakrishnan. Radhakrishnan. The Bhagavad Gita, Radhakrishnan. Oh, man. Wow. There's a hardbound version of this, and it's for sale for $200. Maybe I can get this one for less at another store. So that I can figure out the Mm-hmm. S. Radhakrishnan. Oh, shit. S. Radhakrishnan. Yep, there's a $12 version. Oh, that's by someone else. By C. Radhakrishnan. So Edwin Arnold. There's one on eBay for $15. Wow. No, free shipping. I could copy. 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 Let's see if I did it. Oh. Let's see. I think I can send it this way. Yeah, I can. I think that's on eBay. So I can buy it from my eBay app. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is a good one. It's got the Sanskrit in it. See, it's got the Sanskrit, but it doesn't have the Sanskrit script. I mean the Devanagari, but that's okay. Okay, so thank you very much. I could compare translations. This translation versus that translation. Like, the hesitation and despondency. And in Spanish, el desaliento. So, for example, let's go to verse 32, where Arjuna says, I do not long for victory, O Krishna, nor kingdom, nor pleasures. Of what use is kingdom to us, O Krishna, or enjoyment, or even life? The verse indicates Arjuna's inclination for renunciation of the world. So we go to verse 32 and see how it compares. Yes, I do not wish for victory, O Krishna, nor kingdom, nor pleasures. What is kingdom to us, O Govinda? What enjoyment or even life? Govinda. Oh, Govinda. Is that because the word Govinda is in here. Kun Rajana na Govinda. Yeah, so the translator here is trying to be more literal, word for word, and here he's trying to make it more understandable, more English, and also replaces Govinda with Krishna, because Govinda is another name for Krishna, so he didn't want to confuse anybody, I guess. So that's interesting. So anyway, thank you very much, kind mothers, for coming to my channel and listening to what I'm reading.